My name is Nathan Cole, and I once believed I had a simple, fulfilling life. Driving a truck for a living, I spent long days on the road, but coming home to my wife, Melanie, and our son, Jacob, made it all worthwhile. We weren't wealthy, but we had a home, food, and laughter in the evenings, or so I thought. Melanie was my world. We met young. Her effortless charm and quiet confidence drew me in. I fell hard, convinced she was more than I deserved. After Jacob was born, I took on longer routes, driving interstate to provide for them. I missed birthdays, school events, even anniversaries, but I told myself it was for our family's future. Melanie stayed home with Jacob, or so she said. Looking back, the signs were there. Her phone always face down, dressing up for simple errands, growing distant. I chalked it up to stress, maybe boredom. You've been away too much, Nate, I told myself. I'd surprise her with small gifts, but her smiles never reached her eyes. Still, I never doubted her loyalty. She was my wife, the mother of my son, and I trusted her completely. That trust was my downfall. One day, after a 2-week haul, I returned home, eager to see my family. Before I could step inside, 2 plainclothes officers approached. Nathan Cole, one asked. I nodded, confused. You're under arrest for fraud, identity theft, and conspiracy to commit financial crimes. Handcuffs snapped on, cold and real. Melanie stood in the doorway, arms crossed, her face blank. No words, no defense. The next weeks were a nightmare. I was accused of running shell companies, laundering money through fake invoices, and taking out loans with forged documents, over $200,000 in embezzlement. My name was on everything, accounts, signatures, paperwork. It was airtight, except I hadn't done it. I barely knew online banking, let alone how to orchestrate fraud. No one believed me, not the cops, not my friends. Melanie never visited. A week after my arrest, she filed for divorce, claiming I was dangerous, unstable, a threat to Jacob. My legal team uncovered the truth. Melanie had been having an affair with Darren Whitmore, a wealthy investor with a knack for shady deals. For 2 years, they'd used my identity to set up fake businesses, funneling money through offshore accounts. I was their scapegoat. While I sat in a cell, they lived in a beachside condo, sipping wine on balconies I'd never seen. They sold our house, closed our accounts, and enrolled Jacob in a private school without my consent. My life was dismantled. In jail, I was inmate 41,752, stripped of identity and hope. I stopped eating, barely spoke, and replayed every moment with Melanie, searching for where I went wrong. The pain hardened into something colder, not rage, but resolve. Then I met Mason, an older inmate serving time for wire fraud. A former tech scammer, he was brilliant, studying digital forensics and cybersecurity in the prison library. You ever wonder how they caught you? He asked. I didn't do anything, I said. Exactly, he grinned. That's worse. Mason taught me how systems work, data trails, digital footprints, the places truth hides. We spent a year in the library, dissecting fraud schemes, tracing transactions, and studying metadata. I filled notebooks with diagrams and timelines, learning to spot inconsistencies in the case against me. I found digital fingerprints that weren't mine. For the first time, I had purpose. I vowed this wouldn't be the end of my story. 18 months later, I was released. Charges were dropped after anonymous evidence, financial records, IP logs, emails, pointed to Melanie and Darren. I'd submitted it all, using Mason's lessons. I walked out with a plastic bag of belongings and a heart numb to everything but focus. I didn't contact Melanie or try to see Jacob. I wasn't ready. My goal wasn't revenge. It was erasure. Melanie and Darren had moved to a high-rise in another state, living lavishly. But everyone leaves traces. Using Mason's tools and my own, I unraveled their scheme. I traced offshore accounts, shell corporations, and money flows into trusts and real estate. Every transaction was documented meticulously. I bought back our old house, now in foreclosure, using a holding company under a different name. When the keys hit my hand, I felt peace, not triumph. I sent my findings to the IRS and regulatory bodies, anonymously. Their accounts were frozen. Melanie's face hit the news, tied to tax evasion and money laundering. Darren vanished, emptying their accounts and leaving her to face the fallout. Her luxury car was repossessed, her name blacklisted, her life a punchline on social media. Melanie came to me, desperate. Letters, emails, calls. She painted herself as the victim, begging to explain. I ignored her. When she showed up at Jacob's school, she looked broken, a shadow of the woman I'd loved. I didn't know it would go this far, she whispered, tears falling. You didn't know, or you didn't care? I asked. She reached for Jacob, but he stepped behind me, unsure of her. He's our son, she said. He deserves peace, I replied, something you could never give. I placed a hand on Jacob's shoulder and spoke my final words to her. You traded love for power, and now you have neither. We walked away, leaving her in silence. Jacob and I returned to our house, not just the building, but the feeling of home. He didn't remember much of me, just fragments, but when we hugged, something connected. We were rebuilding, one step at a time. Melanie's world crumbled slowly. She tried to play the victim, but no one believed her. Her lies, her greed, her betrayal, they cost her everything. I didn't need her apologies or her suffering. I needed my life back, and I got it, not through revenge, but through healing. People ask if I got justice. No. Justice would mean reclaiming the years I lost, the trust she shattered. Instead, I found clarity. Forgiveness isn't about freeing them, it's about freeing yourself. Melanie's name holds no weight in my life now. Jacob is growing up strong, kind, unbroken. I tell him the truth gently, not to foster hate, but to teach him what love should feel like and what it should never cost. To anyone trapped in betrayal, clinging to hope that someone will change, you don't need them to choose you. Choose yourself. Your pain doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. Love that costs your self-worth isn't love, it's captivity. The moment you choose your peace, your dignity, you start winning. I didn't win by destroying Melanie. I won by rebuilding without her, creating a life so steady that her chaos couldn't touch me. If you're in your own storm, know this. After the thunder comes silence, and that's where you rebuild. One breath, one step, one truth at a time.